Welcome everybody to another episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me as always, Andrew O'Hara. Joining me once again this week is Wesmeister Hilliard. We got a lot of smart home stuff to talk about today, man. You excited?
Oh yeah, and Westmeister might be accurate because I'm pretty sure there's some German descent in there, so I won't argue against it anyway.
Well, we are now in March, so I get to just YOLO the entire month as an Irish person.
Right.
I guess it's also Women's History Month, so all the women can also YOLO all month long. And then after that, I can no longer boast about my Irishness, and I gotta hide any red hairs that pop out in my beard from time to time.
Of course.
I guess Harrison has some red in his hair every once in a while, and people are like, oh, you can tell he's Irish. So he looks like a little leprechaun, apparently.
Oh. Poor guy.
Right now.
I know. Already dealing
poor
with
little
it.
Fella. Already. Well, Jennifer and I last week, we talked about the Wise security snafu that had happened, and we're back with another one this week. We won't have to go into all the details, but essentially, this doorbell that is sold on Temu, Shein, Amazon, and many others is just absolutely it's full of security issues. And some retailers, like, I guess it's pronounced Temu based on the
Temu.
Super Bowl commercials. Yeah. Temu. I always said Temu, but apparently it's Temu. So Temu has halted sales of this model because not only is it made by this one company, it's marketed under like 10 different names. So they're saying it actually shows up as Awit, Ando, Eakin, Fishbot, Gimme, Luckwolf, Rackablue, and Tuck. Yeah.
It's like you're saying
so all these different I know, all these random names it's sold under this one video doorbell. And in fact, as The Verge had pointed out, it was given the Amazon's Choice badge of smart video doorbells. And they say people can literally walk up to your house, gain access to your doorbell, and not only that, but get permanent access to the images, even if you get it back. Like, they can still have access to what it is capturing. And just people stick with the HomeKit stuff. I don't gotta tell our audience that. They know it.
Yeah, there's certain things you cheap out on, and home security is not one of them. I mean, as we've learned with the situation between, like, last week's content that was an Amazon Ring issue, right? No, Wise. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. That was a Wise issue. There's a whole nother bunch of stuff with Ring, and then you have this stuff with this cheap doorbell from Temu or whatever discount website you use. Yeah, it's not good. If you want security for your home, you have to go a little bit pricier, or just it's better to have nothing at all at that point, because you're basically introducing new vulnerabilities to your home that weren't there before, when honestly the usefulness of a home security camera is still kind of in question. And to basically give people access to your home, at least through their eyes, is too much. Like, just don't even bother if you're going to go so cheap.
You know, okay, you ready for a fun fact? I need some theme music. Andrew's fun fact. Like, it'll just play
we need a button to press.
When I have a fun fact to share. Yeah, I need a button to press for that too. I wish I had the source for this, because I like to be able to give people credit when I learn things that are cool. But do you know why these companies are named things like AIWIT or ANDOE or GEMEE? Like, do you know why they just look like they drop some Scrabble letters on there?
Yeah.
Well, the reason is Amazon and other retailers give priority to brands that are like copyright and protected, because it makes them more legitimate. Mm-hmm. So if you are a foreign company and you're looking to kind of game the algorithm on these websites, you need to make sure your website is like registered and copyrighted. But if you tried to make your name like, I don't know, Wes's Doorbells, and you tried to make a doorbell, there could be some guy named Wes that had issue with that and be like, hey, I sell doorbells, and I don't want you naming your smart doorbell Wes's Doorbells because my store is named that. And you could have an issue with people like challenging your copyright. So they make up these names that have nothing to them, basically just a bunch of vowels and one or two consonants. No one's going to challenge that. No one wants to take rake blue. There wasn't anyone fighting for that copyright. So they're able to take these names, have them copyrighted, boost their standing on these algorithms, and get people to buy their products.
It's a good sign that you're probably buying not even a B tier, but a C, D, E tier product. It's not always the case. I mean, I've shopped on Amazon and bought some things from questionably named products, but they're just as good as the other product. But again, when you're dealing with security, this isn't the way to go. You need to go with a brand name you can trust. Like, it's like if you went to a car lot and it was named a PG3 or something, it's just like, no, you don't need, that's not the car you want to drive. It's going to fall apart off the lot. I mean, that's why you have Honda and Toyota and Ford. Like, those are names you can deal with, that you can trust. The same thing goes in the consumer market realm. Maybe you can get away with buying cheaper paper towels, right? Okay, sure. It's not going to be the commercials from the 90s where they pour orange juice on the floor and swipe it up with one half of a sheet, whatever. But it'll still get the mess cleaned up, right? But if you do this with a security camera, yeah, you're going to end up with some guy watching you in your living room. That's not okay. Like, you have to have some priorities here.
Absolutely. And at least this is a video doorbell and not like an indoor camera. Those are the ones that made me extra nervous about it. But, if we're talking about brands that we trust, I think it's time for our first sponsor break. We can talk about Factor Meals. And this was great timing. This was our read this week because my wife just bought a whole other box of Factor Meals. So if anyone who hasn't heard us talk about Factor Meals on the show before, they are fresh, never frozen, chef-prepared meals. There's multiple options, including keto-friendly ones, low-calorie ones, or just chef selection ones. And they are all absolutely delicious. I had one for dinner last night that had like a potato leek mash going on with some grilled chicken and then this zucchini and roasted corn on the side. So good. You can microwave them and they're done in 2 minutes, or you can put them in the toaster oven. They take like 7 minutes and they're also fantastic. I prefer putting them in the toaster oven or your oven because it gets you get a little more color on them and you get so much better than even the microwave. But if you're in a time crunch, 2 minutes, you're good to go. They're wonderful. And they have all these different options now that I didn't even know. They have like pancakes and smoothies. So there's like snacks, all this stuff. And this is going to be fun, Wes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I got wellness. I got wellness shots this time. So there's several different flavors of wellness shots. And I got one. I brought them down. I wanted to drink them right away, but I was like, no, I'm going to wait for the podcast. So this is the Cayenne Cleanse Wellness Shot, apple, ginger, lemon, and cayenne juice in here. I'll mute my mic so I'm not like drinking into my microphone, but I'm going to drink this right here on camera. And I'll tell you guys right now how it is. So let's go ahead. I'm going to open this up.
He's taking a drink. Oh, he did not make a face. See, I was worried about that. That could have been, we need to put up a title card. Andrew's reaction, not not required. Was it good?
Man, that's so good.
Taste? Yeah.
It was it's very sweet because you got lemon and you got apple in there, but then it's got that good heat from the cayenne at the end.
Nice.
And I love spicy food. These were wonderful.
I love that everything's spicy now.
Middle of the day.
Everything just has a spice to it now. I'm good with that. This is a good direction we're going in with food.
Yes, this is delicious. Recommend these right now. I can tell you, tasted very, very good. There's a green one as well, and one other flavor. So they got 3 different flavors of those wellness shots. They're so good. So,
home cooked
if
meals.
You want to try Factor,
Absolutely.
I like it. Yeah, now my mouth is all watering because of the food and from the lemon juice I just drank. So if you want to try Factor for yourself, head to factormeals.com/HomeKit50 and use code HomeKit50 to get 50% off. That's code HomeKit50 at factormeals.com/HomeKit50 to get 50% off. Sincerely, thank you, Factor, for sponsoring this episode. So getting back to the news, Wes, you want to walk us through this? We have a couple new things from Aqara. Start off, tell us about this new Aqara U200 smart lock that is launching on Kickstarter.
Okay, so it's always funny when big brands launch on Kickstarter, but I guess it's a good way to gauge interest in a product. But We have
I would say Aqara is a medium brand, right? Because we've seen companies like Moment, Peak Design that are established, bigger, and they still go back. I don't know, but yeah, this is
a lot of
up on
companies do
Kickstarter. Go ahead.
this. Yeah, I just find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Like a lot of companies do this, but so the Aqara U200, it's a matter over thread or thread over matter over thread outdoor door lock with keypad combination that you can get that works through the Aqara app. You know, you need one of the Aqara hubs to connect to. There's a fingerprint recognition feature, and did I say English words just now? It has a fingerprint recognition feature. My goodness. Auto lock settings, all of that can be done in the app, and of course, about a 6-month battery life. This one looks interesting. It's definitely one of the lesser aggressively designed smart locks. Anything here of note that you've seen?
No, I think this looks very interesting. So a couple things. It'll hold 50 fingerprints, which is a very good amount. I appreciate that.
An office building worth of fingerprints.
Yeah, basically that. I also think 6-month battery life is a solid amount for battery life, especially if they are good about like alerting you when the battery needs to be replaced. It's a retrofit lock, so really easy to put in there and just fit over your existing stuff. I think it like fits like over top of your existing key stuff. There are multiple different panels, so you can get a silver, a black one, a white one, or a limed oak. Limed oak if you want the wood look to this. The one thing I would have liked to see is like HomeKey. That's the one thing that would have been nice to see here. And it does say Aqara will soon add support for HomeKey. So I'm guessing it just hasn't completed certification yet and they don't want to overpromise. But if this adds HomeKey, this is definitely a contender to install in homes because I've been pretty happy with their other like outdoor products. Their doorbell, I still think is very good. I use it on the back of our house. So this looks like a solid option.
Look at the construction video. I don't know if you've seen how this thing is manufactured, but when you're installing it on the door frame, you install a key into the lock and then put the knob over the key. I think I've never seen anyone do that before. That's really cool. And kind
of a neat installation of this whole thing.
Yeah, for me, we've talked about it before. I want a door lock that doesn't even look like a door lock. Just give her the doorknob. Just have it be an empty plane. I don't want people to even know there's a door there, honestly. Just, there's just a secret. You press a brick and the door opens. No, for sure. As far as like this home security stuff, it goes back to the philosophy of all house locks do is keep the honest people honest. If people want to break into your home, they're going to break into your home. They're a good bit of security. This is not to say you shouldn't have a lock, but it's just, I don't know. I want the fewest amount of options to get into a house. And I know that's the opposite of what a lot of these smart locks offer. They're like 16 ways to access your home. It's like, I want one way to access my home, and that's HomeKey. And sure, maybe a backup feature like a physical key or a key card, maybe. But it's just one of those things where the more things you add, the more points of failure there are. But this looks like it would be a pretty solid option.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to pre-order these, their early bird prices, they're sitting at $169. So $170, 32% off. Full retail price will be $249.99. Aqara often has deals though, so even though like they say full MSRP is $250, it's probably not going to be that super often.
Right.
They had a goal. This is the other part that I thought was really funny when you were mentioning this, Wes, is like when these companies go to Kickstarter, their goal was $10,000. Like this is
immediately.
This must be just like a marketing play more than anything. But they've raised like $750,000. Like they've raised $320 million right now. Sorry, $320,000 right now. Like well past their goal. So it's like super successful, and the car stuff always does well. So I just always find it fun. Like they're just doing this for marketing because they have to pay Kickstarter a fee for hosting here. So I am always surprised they just don't want to just take the money themselves because they know the product's going to sell.
There's probably some sort of business deal there with Kickstarter. But on top of that, if I had to guess, the whole process for any of these companies that do this, it's just to gauge interest. They want to see how many people pledge, how many people pre-order. They need to know how many to make, rather than going dark or just suddenly announcing one day, there's a lock, come pre-order it, and it's out in 2 weeks. When you go that route, you don't know how many to manufacture. So how many do you have prepared for launch? And how many are going to be there for the initial shipments? Did you make too many? Did you make too few? Are people going to be upset that they pre-ordered but can't get it on launch day? All of that can be corrected by Kickstarter and a fee to whatever people give you. But I think it's smart. It's a definitely business 2020 style methodology, but I think it's a smart way to go anyway.
So before we move on to the next piece of like news here, I thought this was interesting. I ran over to Tractor Supply to pick up some food for the chickens, and they have gate openers, which I'm sure is more for like more of a farm situation where you've got like, you know, horses or cows or something that you want to be able to like let out in the morning and afternoon, something like that. But it also had me wondering if I could just put this on the gates that we have here at the house. And
is it a gate opener like a wheel? The wheel guy on the ground that kind of moves itself?
No, this is like a almost like a hydraulic piston type thing that installs behind the door and like open and close it. And what I'm also curious about is there's like a remote option for it. So there's an app control, and then there's like an IR type of situation for it. So I'm wondering if I could use something like an Aqara hub and like a window and like trigger the gate to open and close. Like I thought that'd be really cool. Because when there's times like I gotta like go down, basically we have a house, we have a gate on the side. So if I'm taking something down to the back, down the ramp, and I have to go through the gate into our yard, I've got to be able to I have to go all the way around the house first, open the gate, and then come all the way back up, or whatever I'm carrying or driving down, get out, do it, and do it. So it'd be really nice to be able to like say, like open the gate, and the gate just opens, and then I could go down and do what I'm doing. So I don't know. I was already curious. I was looking into it. So yeah, we'll have to see if I get excited this summer and try it.
Feels like there's not enough doors and gates going on. I mean, we talked about this before when someone asked about, can I do an outdoor gate control sensor kind of open and close thing? And this brings to mind the fact that you can probably do a lot of this stuff through getting the equipment yourself, installing it, and then attaching some sort of HomeKit switch to energize it when you need to, right? The whole thing doesn't need to be HomeKit. It's just the endpoint that activates the power that says open or close needs to be HomeKit. So there's a lot of things that could probably happen with this stuff, but I'm ready for more companies to get into these kind of categories. Like the people who make doors, right? Are they interested in building smart doors or HomeKit objects? I wonder. Is that even on their radar?
You never know. You never know. Well, outside of the security aspect of everything that we've been hitting hard today, Aqara also has a new light, and this one is not for pre-order. This one is one you could buy right now. So this is the Aqara Ceiling Light T1M. It is a round ceiling light, and it has a couple cool tricks up its sleeve, Wes. So first, it's actually two lights. There is the bottom light, and then there is an ambiance light around the edge. So that way you could have it like the bottom light off, and then a soft glow coming out of the top. You could trigger like the top light with motion sensors and stuff like that as like a nice hallway light. You could have complementary lights on them, all different things you could do. Plus it supports HomeKit adaptive lighting. So if you're a HomeKit user and you want to use that and change the color of it throughout the day, also possible. It Zigbee connects to the Aqara hub and works via Matter. What do you think of this thing?
This is really interesting. I like that it has two very specific lights that you can target. So I'm assuming that shows up as two lights in HomeKit or the Aqara app. No, that's really smart. I wish. Oh, give me a second. If you can hear this in the show, I hope we don't get a copyright strike. I have an automation. We're recording later than usual today. And I have an automation that starts audio playing in my office, and I'm trying to talk so it can't get to the microphone. And there, I've turned it off. Okay. So, sorry about that, everyone. You might have seen that in the video. Moving on. So, I like that this has two separate regions you can target. That's really cool. I like your idea of having motion sensors turn it on and off. The only thing that bothers me is so many of these really awesome light fixtures, like I think NanoLeaf had one recently that's a ceiling light as well. They're all hardwire solutions, which is good because you can drill a hole and hide the wire and, you know, climb in your attic and get it to your electrical point, whatever. And it look really nice and seamless, but I can't do that in my house that I rent. So It's really cool,
Okay,
but
here's
out
the
of my
thing,
reach.
Wes.
Yeah.
You can.
Oh.
Because you can replace your existing fixtures. You don't have to drill a whole new one. If you have existing fixtures, you just replace those. That's what, and then when you move, like when I was renting, like, sure, can you install a smart thermostat? Maybe not, but like I asked the maintenance guy, and he's like, yeah, exactly. Just put in the other one when you leave. With a light, there's 2-3 wires. For anyone who is, has basic electrical know-how, you can easily just remove like a can light or whatever you have already in your ceiling, like the NanoLeaf skylight one. I think it uses like the adhesives or whatever, and then you've got goes right into that can light fixture. You put it in your ceiling, and you're good to go. All set. And then when you leave, you just replace it out. And this one's even easier because it should fit right into that existing receptacle. There's no like extra panels like the NanoLeaf one. It's just that one ceiling fixture. So if you get a room with like just a light on top, like a bedroom, office, dining room, anything like that, foyer, super great place to be able to install this and replace whatever, like those dome ones that you see everywhere, like those common ones, just replace it with this. It's a lot better.
I would miss my ceiling fan, but this would be really cool to have in my office.
It's true. Well, let's see. We got to take one more break. I think our last sponsor, you guys have heard us talk about him before, and I still love him just as much. In fact, I know another company that is just now moving to Shopify, and they are very excited about it. So clearly the word of Shopify is spreading, and why everybody loves it, from merchants to developers to the actual customers. Wes, what do you love about the Shopify platform?
Well, I use them all the time. I think I've used them 3 times this week. I ordered some air purifier filters from Air Versa. I bought a new Nomad case like 2 weeks ago that came through them. Let's see. Shopify appeared on my... Oh, I ordered from Pet Libro, got a new water fountain for the pets. So it's everywhere. And that's one of the best things about it, because when you're checking out, you see that familiar interface. Yes, it's white labeled, that it doesn't say in big letters on it Shopify or anything, but you know it's them. And so you get the confidence of checking out with your preferred card, or maybe Apple Pay, Amazon Pay, what have you. And it's all very quick, simple, and you get to check out and be done with it and move on with your day instead of fiddling around with finding a card or what have you. It's nice, simple, and safe. So.
Absolutely. There's a reason like 10% of all online e-commerce in the US is powered by Shopify. It is the platform for every stage of your business. If you are selling digital goods, you are selling physical goods, you're selling candy, whatever it is, Shopify is going to work for you. Run your coupons through here, like all the different discount codes like you want to create for your customers. Gift cards, I believe, like are an option. All sorts of stuff that you can do with Shopify. Plus, they also have the best converting checkout, 36% better compared to other leading e-commerce platforms, converting those buyers into, or those browsers into buyers. As we said, like there's so many websites that use Shopify. Allbirds is my favorite that uses it. Nomad is another big one. Rothy's, Brooklyn, and millions of others are using Shopify. So sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/HomeKit, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/HomeKit now to grow your business no matter what stage you are in. Shopify.com/HomeKit. And this is, again, where I smash the button that makes like the ching noise. I got the one that has like Andrew's fun facts, and then another one for cha-ching. And we're going to come up with more buttons. I'm going to get a whole button panel here going, Wes.
There you go.
So much cool stuff. Well, moving on with the news, this leaked early this week. If anyone has seen it floating around Twitter before it became official, Eve has a new outdoor outlet. So this is a new outdoor outlet. It'll replace your existing receptacle that you already have. Here's the thing. It's not coming to the US. Not right now. They told me this is launching in select EU countries. It's going to retail for €79.95. Matter connected, right? So IP44 resistance for outside, thread connectivity, manual on and off button are hidden right into the top of it. Looks similar to the other outdoor products that Eve has, like the Eve Outdoor Cam and the current version of the Eve Aqua. Yeah, this looks really cool. we haven't seen something like this before, Wes. I mean, is there anything like this on the market of an outdoor smart outlet other than smart plugs? Like you can plug in smart plugs, but we're actually replacing an outdoor outlet. I don't think we've seen before.
Yeah, I've only ever seen those extension cables that like you get the weather resistant, like heavy duty orange cables, run them out to your yard and then attach this guy to the end and then suddenly it becomes a smart outlet. But no, I've never seen like a dedicated power run underground to a outdoor outlet type of thing like this that you might see someone have at a if you have a deck with a pool or something, there might be outlets around that deck. This is the kind of thing that would replace that, like a real secure, safe outdoor outlet. And this is cool if you're in the EU. So hopefully maybe they develop it for the United States soon, because I could see this being cool for outdoor gardens and stuff like that.
Yeah, I love this idea. I really do hope they come out with a US version. But if you're in the EU, there's Germany and select other countries. So if you are over there and try one of these out, hit me up. Let me know how it goes, what you think of it. Provide a mini review. We'll cover it on the show again. So last piece of news. There was so much going on this week. This is crazy, man. LIFx. We haven't talked about LIFx in a long, long time. And they were about to go under. And then they were bought by Fight Electric, the US-based company. And now they're back. They are back. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 new products that they are announcing this week. And they say they've got 11 to 12 more products coming in the next 18 months. So they are ready. They are punching above their weight class, it feels like right now. They have flush or influx of cash going on. They've got distribution going on. So I'm excited. These are all Wi-Fi and Matter enabled. There's outdoor string lights. There's path lights. There are spotlights. There is an outdoor flexible light strip. And we're going to see a lot more. So what do you think of all these, Wes?
This is cool. I remember LIFx. A roommate had them when I was installing Hue. So we kind of had a competing system thing going on across our apartment. And I always noticed that at the time, this is years ago, they were not that good, LIFx. Their Wi-Fi bulbs were individually connected through a router, and they just they were flaky. But I'm glad to see that they're revived. These look cool. The path lights are $150 each. They're very nicely designed. I sold through Home Depot. Might have to go see if they have them there to go handle. That'd be cool. But no, always good to see competition, especially a returning brand like this. I feel like they have the Matter brand everywhere. So looks like they're stepping in with some good investors, building some competing products that are up to the modern standards. So I would definitely want to try some of these out, especially their outdoor collection. These are cool. They have some can lights that look like a lot of fun that have different colors and stuff you can put through them with all kind of like reminds me of the Nanoleaf where you can program different scenes through them. So pretty neat.
These outdoor fixtures are always so expensive. Like the ones from Hue are always like very expensive. But these are like those outdoor, the sconces or whatever these are, like the path lights look really cool.
Yeah, I like the
round ones and square ones.
And they're colorful.
And they look, full color spectrum, not just white or anything. Full color. They're also very bright. They say that it's got super color powers, which is 5 times as bright as other ones on the market. They're not calling out any other like specific brands, but they are saying that they are very bright. What's we looking here? So
I wonder how they're powered.
I'm trying to see if there is like,
because
I assume they got to be linked together. 500 lumens to is brightness here.
Yeah. But I would need,
for
my front yard, together. I would need 4 or 5 of these to be useful. And that'd be about $700, $600, $700. So very interesting, definitely an investment, but stuff like this lasts forever. So like if I'm upgrading like my outdoor lighting situation, I would want to invest a good amount of money into it. And this is definitely like an option that I would want to look at.
So I'm not even joking, it's probably been like 10 years now. Whenever they originally launched them, I bought the Philips Hue outdoor spotlight for expensive. Our townhome. Mm-hmm. They were very expensive. 3 spotlights, I'm pretty sure it was like $250, something like that, $300 maybe, for these 3 outdoor spotlights. They're still working. They're still working on the front of my house. I think one of them is looking at little dim. So I'm thinking they're getting close to the end of their lifespan because they do have like an hour rating, and I have them on all the time. But they add really nice color to the house. I change them like based on the season and stuff like that. It just gives like little accents of things, whether you have like a garden or anything like that you want to highlight, flag poles, whatever. There's some cool stuff that you can do with them. But outdoor stuff lasts, or I mean, just generally smart lights LEDs last a really long time. Mm-hmm. And I think we're getting close to replacing my Hue ones just for the number of hours they have been on in like 10 years of use. So, yeah, maybe it's time to upgrade. Maybe I'll check out those. The spotlights are really cool. Maybe I can just pick up like 2 spotlights and outfit my house with those. So we'll see.
So if we can just get the Eve outdoor outlets and connect them to our LIFx things, we'd be good to go. Because I have no outdoor power right now, Andrew. It's frustrating. I need to figure that out. But yeah, I'm gonna have to dig a hole and run a cable somewhere. But that'll be an interesting project at some point.
Their spotlights look really nice, by the way. 1,600 lumens on these things. Really Wi-Fi, bright. Very bright. So tie all those together. Very cool. Okay, so this isn't really any news. This is just you and I round out this episode here. This came to me in a dream, Wes.
That's a good way to start any new thing we're going to do. Go ahead. I just had this idea in a dream, and I woke up and like, that's not crazy. It's possible. And I don't know if we're going to see anything like this, but I hope we do. But as we're talking this year about Apple really leaning into generative AI and all this kind of stuff that we're going to get from its digital assistant, as well as all of how it's going to use that in all of its different areas, right? There's going to be these AI powered music suggestions. We're going to see it in like notes and calendar, all these different ways Apple's going to be using AI. Literally in its shareholders meeting last week, Apple said like, we're going to be breaking new ground in terms of AI usage that people have never done before. So I'm very excited about it. And the one thing that I had in my dream that I'm like, this is a good idea, and I wish Apple would do it. I want like a summary, an AI delivered summary of what happened with my house for the day, which could be really useful when maybe you're not there or you were gone. Maybe like you leave your house and come back, like you go to the store, and it could give you a quick summary of what happened while you were gone. Because it's going to know things like, oh, your dogs ran around the house for a little bit because it has indoor cameras, so it knows that, hey, there was motion. It was your pets. They seem to run around for a minute. Good. Or your dogs barked at something. It's able to tell you that. It can say, hey, the FedEx guy came to your door and delivered 3 packages. Like maybe that. And you could even get notifications that are like those types of things too, because it's able to know what's going on and be able to tell you about them. Like I want these like AI powered summaries and descriptions of what's going on with your house. And it seems like something Apple could totally do. It's not that crazy or far fetched. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you think we could see something like this? Yeah, we already have the home security view where if you go, it's kind of hidden. But if you go into the security section of the Home app, there's actually like a history section that'll show you every time a door opened or closed or a lock was changed or something. Like it could, the information's there. It's just, yeah, we would need something to summarize it. And I could see Apple doing this. I could see a third party doing this if they got access to enough of the data. I don't know what third party access looks like, but a developer could make this with like a chat GPT plugin or something like that. But with Apple going into, I would trust it a lot more to be accurate.
Because they already have access to things like your camera feeds that third parties wouldn't have access to. So Apple could be able to see like what your pets had done during the day or who is at your door. And they'd be able to literally use, like they could tell by uniforms of who someone was, whether it was Amazon, UPS, FedEx, like all that kind of stuff. They'd be able to know.
We've all kind of wanted, I don't know why this was the thing, but maybe it's just sci-fi from the 80s and 90s bleeding into today. But I remember when automations were beginning to take off with shortcuts and the whole promise of Siri being really this kind of tool that people wanted to build the morning summary thing where you tell your assistant, give me my morning summary, and it fetches the weather and your reminders and your calendar and reads all of this information off and then opens, which by the way, this is possible now. There's actually a program in Siri that does this. You just tell it, give me my summary, I think it's, or tell me about my days. There's a trigger phrase for it. I forget it offhand, but you can actually program it to read from a specific podcast. So you can make it read Apple News Today with you or everything. But I could see this being baked into it where while it's giving you your news and weather, it could say, by the way, while you were asleep, I saw this happen on your outdoor camera. Or when you're coming home, your doorbell camera could recognize you're the one walking in the front door, and then have the HomePod in your living room start playing a summary of what happened at your home while you were away. And like, so-and-so left, so-and-so's home, yada, yada. Like, there's a lot of cool applications here that I could see happening. And again, there's so many ways Apple could tackle this AI thing they're getting into that could be interesting and useful.
Yeah, maybe it's just a pipe dream. Who knows what we're going to get actually with Apple's first batch of AI stuff. I mean, we're not going to get into these details, but as I'm sure everyone covered on the regular Apple Insider podcast, like Apple shutting down its whole car division and shifting a lot of that work over to its generative AI project, which most people have seemed to view favorably. And Apple seems bullish on it. I mean, Cook's been really hyping it up, kind of like how he did with Vision Pro for years ahead of time. So it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun dub-dub this year.
Yeah, this show comes out on Mondays. So if you haven't heard Fridays previously, Apple Insider podcast, William and I dive deep into Apple Car and what happened to it and where all that research is going. So if you haven't heard it yet, I'd recommend going and checking it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wes, for hanging out today. I feel like we had a lot of news that we had to get through. More cool stuff coming up in the upcoming episodes. Everyone, please do what you do best. Please give us a 5, 10, 100-star rating on Apple Podcasts or your podcast player of choice. Where can they find you, Wes?
Well, as usual, I'm active on Mastodon. You can ping me on X, Twitter. I'll respond if I see it. Otherwise, you can email me, or you can just find me here on the Apple Insider podcast. So
awesome. If you guys want to watch the video version of this podcast, youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. If you have any questions that you want covered in future episodes, you can go ahead and email me or find me on Twitter. Otherwise, we'll catch you guys in next week's episode.
See you then.